This will be a continuation from part 1. This will be part 2 where we replace the bushings in the upper control arm. First, secure it in your vise. Almost impossible to do unless you do this. Next, you're going to need some tools. I use these from the loaner program at O'Reilly's. Next, inspect and putter about. Go ahead and use some of the adapters from the 4-wheel drive kit. These are nice and long and will allow the whole bushing to slide out into the whatever receptacle of the adapter. I'm going to put some preload on the bushing with the tool before I heat it up. So basically going to put it in place and then crank down on it a little bit, not a ton. You could press it out the entire way this way. I mean, the tool is strong enough to do that. But if you do that, you end up leaving a bunch of rubber that you have to remove, which is a pain in the ass. So by doing this, we preload it, and then we know when we've gotten it hot enough with the torch, because it'll release a little bit and slide out nice and easy. Once you've got it secured, go ahead and heat it up with your torch. This does take a while. You're going to plan on spending, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes on this, just getting it hot enough. And once it is hot enough, you'll notice that the preload on your tool, the bushing will start to push out a little bit, and then you can go ahead and finish it off with a wrench and just push it into the receptacle on the other side. In other words, push the whole bushing out. You can see it is smoking pretty good, so make sure you do this in some place, like not in your living room, where all that smoke won't be a big deal. This is hot, so don't touch the stuff. I did accidentally touch, some parts along the way, and yeah, they're toasty. So watch out. So there we go. You can see it pressed out pretty easy once everything was hot. Or the bushing. See, it comes out with most of the rubber on it, which is what we want. And then I just used, it's actually an old kitchen knife here, and scraped some of the rubber off. In some places the metal didn't get quite hot enough, so the rubber was still kind of sticking on. So I used the torch again. And this is not really to burn the rubber out, but more to heat the metal up, which lets you scrape the rubber off. Get it up nice and toasty and keep on scraping. Well, the more you get scraped out with a knife, the less you have to do later. Alright, so once that's all scraped out, the directions will say that you need to push the sleeve into the control arm. There is a little gap on this metal sleeve that's in the control arm that holds the bushing in. The metal sleeve, you just have to press it all the way so that the face of the metal sleeve there is flush with the control arm. So again, use this tool, and this is super awkward because you're trying to hold on, both sides of the control arm. You're trying to hold on an adapter on both sides. So go ahead and be patient, or have a helper. And once you have those on, make sure they're centered so that you're pressing on nice and even. You can see it's still hot. I did do this while it was hot, and it wasn't a big deal. I think that does actually help it slide in. So it doesn't take much. You can see I only go a couple of turns here, maybe not even a full turn, I don't know. And then that presses that sleeve in nice and flush. So once you've done that, you're pretty much done with that side, and you can go on and repeat the process on the other side. So I'll flip it over. You can see this bushing was kind of wore. You can see some cracking going on there. I went ahead and stuck a little dealio in there and with just my hand, you can see I'm moving it back and forth quite a bit. So preload it up, and then with tension on the bushing, heat it up again with a torch. Just like we did on the other side of the control arm. Now I did skip a whole bunch there. I didn't just torch it for a couple of seconds. This does take, like I said, 5-10 minutes to get that hot enough. But once it is, you can push that out nice and easy. All right, and then scrape off all the rubber we did before. Go ahead and use your torch, make some fire, get the rubber as clean as you can with the torch and the knife. It just makes things easier later on. You see kind of the rubber just kind of comes off in chunks. You can see it there on the knife blade once it's hot enough. It's no big deal. And then we will push that metal sleeve on this side back flush into the bushing as well. You see how handy this tool is. This is actually from O'Reilly. They have like a free loaner tool program, so go ahead and jump on that if you don't have this tool. Super handy. Alright, survey says it's flush. We're good to go. And that's pretty much it for the upper control arm. Stay tuned for part 3.